The history of Ghana in 10 minutes. Welcome to the Explore and thanks for watching. As you all know, it is always a pleasure presenting to you the beautiful countries of Africa. In today's video, we are looking at the history of Ghana in 10 minutes. The Republic of Ghana is named after the medieval West African Ghana Empire. The empire became known in Europe and Arabia as the Ghana Empire after the title of its emperor, the Ghana. The empire appears to have broken up following the 1076 conquest by the Almoravid general Abu Bakr ibn Umar. A reduced kingdom continued to exist after Almoravid rule ended, and the kingdom was later incorporated into the subsequent Sahelian empires, such as the Mali Empire, several centuries later. Geographically, the ancient Ghana Empire was approximately 800 kilometers north and west of the modern state of Ghana, and controlled territories in the area of the Senegal River and east towards the Niger rivers in modern Senegal, Mauritania, and Mali. Ghana is today known as the Gold Coast of Africa, and the history of this great African nation is an important part of its present and future. Hence, without much ado, here is the history of Ghana in 10 minutes. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our uploads. Little is known of the small African kingdoms in the region between the Tano and Volta rivers until the arrival of Europeans in the 15th century. Portuguese navigators walking their way down the West African coast reached this area in 1471 and built a fortress at Elmina in 1482. But others follow fast. As early as 1492, a French buccaneer marauding off the coast deprives a Portuguese ship of its precious cargo. That cargo was gold, and the Gold Coast becomes the European name for this part of Africa. The trade in gold with the Europeans makes possible the development in the early 17th century of Akwamo, the first African state to control an extensive part of the coast. During the 18th century, the dominance of Akwamo is replaced by that of a much powerful group, the Ashanti, with their capital inland at Kumasi. By this time, the British, Dutch, and Danes are the main European traders of this part of the coast, and the most valuable commodity for export was not gold but slaves. Trading slaves for muskets, among other Western commodities, the Ashanti acquire great local power. Their king, the Asante Lahain, enthroned on a traditional golden stool, holds sway over the entire central region of modern Ghana. But the Ashanti suffer a series of major blows between 1804 and 1814, when the Danes, British, and Dutch each in turn outlawed the slave trade. The resulting tension leads to warfare in the 1820s with the defeat of a British force in 1824 and again in the 1870s. In 1874, a British army briefly occupies Kumasi. Meanwhile, in the coastal regions, the British are gradually emerging as the main European power. The Danish fortresses, including the impressive Christiansborg Castle in Accra, are bought by the British government in 1850. The last Dutch merchants abandoned the coast in 1870. And in 1874, the southern regions are formally proclaimed a British colony under the name Gold Coast. But it takes another 3 decades before the Ashanti Kingdom and its dependencies in the north are finally brought under British control. In 1901, taking effect from the 1st of January 1902, Ashanti is declared a British Crown colony. The regions further north become at the same time the protectorate of the Northern Territories of the Gold Coast. The colonial years are relatively prosperous and untroubled. At first, little is done to involve the African population in the political processes of the colony. But in the years immediately after World War II, events move so fast that the Gold Coast becomes the first colony in sub-Saharan Africa to win its independence. The turning point is the return home in 1947 of Kwame Nkrumah after 12 years of study and radical politics in the USA and Britain. Nkrumah is invited back to the Gold Coast to become General Secretary of the United Gold Coast Convention, an organization campaigning for self-government. The UGCC has won the right in 1946 for an African majority in the colony's legislative assembly, but the fight is now on for a share in executive power. Nkrumah rapidly extends the movement's popular base, with the result that there are widespread riots in February 1948. The older UGCC leaders are alarmed by this and by their brief arrest with Nkrumah. A split within the movement leads to Nkrumah founding in June 1949 the Convention People's Party, committed to immediate self-government. From January 1950, Nkrumah organizes a campaign of non-violent protests and strikes, which lands him back in jail. But in the colony's first general election in February 1951, the CPP wins convincingly even in the absence of its leader. Nkrumah is released from prison to join the government, and in 1952 he becomes Prime Minister. During the years of preparation for independence, the neighboring British Togo votes in the 1956 plebiscite to merge with the Gold Coast. It is therefore a slightly extended territory which becomes independent in 1957 under Nkrumah's leadership. A new name of great resonance in African history is adopted, Ghana, although the ancient kingdom of that name was far to the north in present-day Mali. Nkrumah, well aware of his status at the head of the first West African nation to emerge from colonialism, dreams of leading the continent into a Marxist future. This requires a republic, which Ghana became in 1960 with Nkrumah as president for life. It also needs only one political party, the CPP. However, Nkrumah's authoritarian rule combined with a collapse in the nation's economy prompts a coup when the president is away in China in 1966 and he goes into exile in Guinea. It is the first of several such coups in Ghana's short history, but the nation remains true to the hope of democracy. In 4 decades, Ghana establishes as many new republics. A general election launching the Second Republic in 1969 brings to power Kofi Busia, a university professor with a long track record in Ghanaian politics as an opponent of Nkrumah. But he is unable to improve Ghana's economic performances, which had been weakened by low cocoa prices, and thus he is removed by military officers in 1972. For a few years from 1972, a military regime rules with repressive brutality under the successive leadership of 2 generals, Ignatius Champong and Frederick Akufo. But by the year 1979, a group of younger officers have had enough. Led by Jerry Rawlings, a flight lieutenant in the Air Force, they take power and Champong and Akufo are executed while arrangements are put in place for speedy elections. Under international and domestic pressure for a return to democracy, the PNDC allowed the establishment of a 258-member consultative assembly made up of members representing geographic districts as well as established civic or business organizations. The assembly was charged to draw up a draft constitution to establish a 4th republic using PNDC proposals. The PNDC accepted the final product without revision and it was put to a national referendum on 28 April 1992. In which it received 92% approval. On the 18th of May 1992, the ban on party politics was lifted in preparation for multi-party elections. The PNDC and its supporters formed a new party, the National Democratic Congress, NDC, to contest the elections. Presidential elections were held on 3rd November and parliamentary elections on 29th December that year. Members of the opposition boycotted the parliamentary elections, however, which resulted in a 200-seat parliament with only 17 opposition party members and 2 independents. The constitution entered into force on 7 January 1993 to found the 4th Republic. On that day, Rawlings was inaugurated as president and members of the parliament swore their oaths of office. In 1996, the opposition fully contested the presidential and parliamentary elections, which were described as peaceful, free, and transparent by domestic and international observers. Rawlings was re-elected with 57% of the popular vote. In addition, Rawlings' NDC party won 133 of the parliament's 200 seats, just 1 seat short of the 2/3 majority needed to amend the constitution, although the election returns of 2 parliamentary seats faced legal challenges. The Third Republic in 1979 lasts only 2 years before Rawlings and his fellow officers intervene again. After his second coup, Rawlings takes personal power, ruling through a provisional National Defense Council, which has a specific brief to organize a renewal of the nation's political and economic life, down to village level. Rawlings proves an efficient leader, winning international support for his economic policies, and the 1990s demonstrates that he has popular approval as well. In the prevailing fashion for multi-party democracy, Ghana holds elections in 1992 in preparation for its 4th Republic. Rawlings transforms his ruling council into a political party, the National Democratic Congress (NDC). The NDC wins nearly all seats in parliament and Rawlings is elected president, but only 29% of the electorate vote and most of the opposition parties boycott the election, hence the 1992 result can hardly be taken as a popular mandate. However, elections in 1996 at the end of the 4-year term are altogether more significant. There are other presidential candidates, at least one of them enjoying wide support. Yet Rawlings astonishes observers by winning 57% of the vote to his nearest rival's 40%, and the NDC retains its absolute majority in parliament. After 2 terms as an elected president, Rawlings stands down for the presidential election of December 2000. It is won by the opposition leader, John Kufuor. In the presidential election of 2000, Jerry Rawlings endorsed his vice president John Atta Mills as a candidate for the ruling NDC. John Kufuor stood for the New Patriotic Party (NPP), won the election and became the president on 7th January 2001. The vice president was Aliyu Mahama. The presidential election of 2000 was viewed as free and fair. Kufuor won another term again in the presidential election in 2004. The presidency of Kufuor saw several social reforms, such as the reform in the system of national health insurance of Ghana in 2003. In 2005, saw the start of the Ghana School Feeding Program, in which a free hot meal per day was provided in public schools and kindergartens in the poorest areas. Although some projects were criticized as unfinished or unfunded, the progress of Ghana was noted internationally. President Kufuor soon gave up power in 2008. The ruling New Patriotic Party chose Nana Akufo-Addo, son of Edward Akufo-Addo, as their candidate, while National Democratic Congress's John Atta Mills stood for the third time. After a runoff, John Atta Mills won the election. On 24th July 2012, Ghana suffered a shocking blow when their president died. Power was then given to his vice president, John Dramani Mahama. He chose the then governor of the Bank of Ghana, Kwesi Amisa-Athu, as his vice. The National Democratic Congress won the 2012 election, making John Mahama rule again, his first term. John Atta Mills was sworn in as president on 7th January 2009 in a peaceful transition after Kufuor was narrowly defeated. The Gold Coast is currently ruled by Nana Akufo-Addo, who is leading the beautiful African giant to new heights. There you have it, explorers. That was a history of Ghana in 10 minutes. Thanks for watching this video. If you did enjoy this video, do well to give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe and share with your friends.